Hi, I'm Jake Hill and I'm driving for Laser Tools Racing with MB Motorsport. First half of the season has been a little bit up and down, but I must admit, as of recently, it's been up a lot. We've had an amazing Snetterton and an amazing Thruxton round. You know, Thruxton was the one that particularly sort of stood out as being, you know, it wasn't the one I was expecting to maybe do really well at. I thought we'd go well and have a good run, but not to come away with a double win and a P5, which was amazing. So I've enjoyed the first half of the season more than I ever have. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that the key to it was Tom had quite a fast car, especially on Saturday in qualifying, but we had a really consistent car. All 3 sessions we were right there, and when it came down to it in qualifying, you know, we were like 3 thousandths away from Dan Cam in second. Tom was a couple of tenths up the road, but we were right in the mix. And to be fair, all the Napa cars were very, very close to us. But I just knew if I get a good start and I manage to hold off those first couple of laps, then there's a good chance I'm going to win the first race. And that's exactly what happened. You know, Tom went backwards, I continued to go forward. And in the second race, obviously, Tom came at me, but he had an issue with Dan Cam along the line further earlier in the race. And he got done for that, which inherited me the second win. So yeah, sometimes you need a bit of luck, and ultimately that's Tom's mistake, but my gain. So yeah, very pleased to come away with a double win. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't think we've seen full use of that option tyre in the mixing tyres due to the weather we've had for the first start of the year. You know, obviously we're planned to run those mixed sets, and Snetterton being a prime example of using all 3 of the sets of rubber that we had available, and I didn't use a single one of them. You know, I used wets in all 3 races. So in fact, I did use a soft. I used a soft in race 1, but we didn't really see that benefit or loss to using different compounds. It's a good mix for sure, and I think for the second half of the year, you know, it's going to pay dividends again in getting that tyre strategy right. And the difference, obviously, from qualifying to a race is in qualifying we only have a set amount of seconds to use per lap, which, to be honest, doesn't really touch the sides. You know, it's a bit, but it doesn't really do anything. And ultimately, you're only going to use it in one place, which is going to be up the hill to generate the most amount of drive. In the race is a different situation because you'll get a certain amount of laps, but obviously the full 15 seconds to use throughout the lap. And that is, you know, that's a much better way to look at it. So if you have a good qualifying, and that's where it becomes tricky when you haven't got the hybrid to use in qualifying. But if you can still manage a good quali and getting a good start, then those early laps are crucial, and maybe using that hybrid early is what we have found works best. We have full use of it in FP1, and we deploy it every place where we think it's going to be useful, and then we analyse through the data, okay, that's giving you that much, that's giving you that much. This is where it's going to be worth using. So that's how personally we do it, and that's what works best. And also, you know, it gives you a feel in the car as well as, oh, that feels like it's juicy, that feels like it's working really well there, and it just gives you a bit of an idea. But also having it all available to you in FP1 is good because you then get a feel for it for a race situation. You know, you get full 15 seconds use, and you know where you're going to use it come race day when, you know, those early laps are crucial. I think it's pretty showing, you know, me, Ash, Tom, we've had a pretty good run of it given the lack of hybrid power that we've got. And I think that's 2 things. One, we are just so committed at the minute, all of us, especially us 3, you know, we are throwing the world at it in qualifying. Like, you wouldn't believe you're that close to having an almighty shunt every time you turn in. That's how on the limit you are. But at the same time, you know, we've obviously got good cars underneath us as well. We're working really well with our teams, all of us, and you know, yes, it's really tough. You know, there's no 2 ways about it. But it's just, yeah, you know, who's got the best chassis? Ultimately, the rule changes can only do so much. I think if the driver and the car are working together in perfect harmony, you're always going to be not near to the front. You know, that hybrid may not give you pole, but it may be top 3. You might be right there ready to fight. I'll hold my hands up. Me and Craig, my engineer, you know, we got a bit lost at Brands and it all sort of fell apart, and you do wonder, you know, are we going in the right direction here? You know, is it working? But gone back to square one, rethought the process through again, We arrived at Snetterton, we had an amazing car, we had an amazing weekend. We arrived at Thruxton, had an amazing car, had an even better weekend. That's all we need at this point, is just to get a lot of points and go into the summer break feeling happy. No, it brings a challenge for the team. It doesn't make any difference to me. You know, ultimately, you know, that's their problem, and I'm here to do a job, and that is to get that Laser Tools Racing BMW to the front. Colin is, of course, my teammate, and I respect him immensely. But when the helmet goes on, we are rivals and we are fighting against one another. So you'd love to have a teammate as a friend, not a foe in that situation. But like I said, I'm here to do a job, and I'm here to make sure that job gets done. Last year we were too far behind to do anything about. Arguably my best chance of winning a championship was 2022 when I was in the rocket beamer, rocket ship. My inexperience of not being in that position before probably is what lost me the championship. You know, we had a car quick enough to do the job. Tom's car was extremely fast that weekend, but lessons were learned. And I think, you know, I'm a much different person now this year. I think a lot of people can see it. I'm driving better than I ever have, for sure. I'm way more focused, way more determined to get it done. The car's working well, and I think, you know, me and all the boys and girls on the car, you know, we're in really good harmony at the minute together. You know, loving it. It's a proper team. So yeah, just long may it continue. I think just keep the morale up and keep fighting to the end.